Hari Om, Namo Namaha Sarvebhyah. A bowing greetings to all of you to my channel Holistic Health with Dr-Deb. Now I am really excited today because today this particular video is marking the beginning of an enchanting series of stories. Now these stories are just not any kind of fantasy stories from the fictions. These stories are stories from the Puranas. There are 18 Puranas in Sanātana Dharma spirituality. In the Indian spirituality, 18 Puranas. Watch out for another video where I will talk about what are the names of those 18 Puranas. But here, these stories have been picked from those Puranas and have been described in a very mind-boggling, enchanting, and interesting fashion where one would just pay their entire attention in listening from the beginning to the end of each one of these stories. So this series will constitute of 100 stories from the Puranas. And where am I getting these stories from? So these stories I will be reading out from the book called Mahagatha, 100 Tales from the Puranas by Satyarth Nayak. So you can take a look also, but you can just enjoy listening these videos as I read them out. So in this session, we initiate the first of these 100 stories from the Puranas. The name of the first story is, and in the chronology, it makes sense, it's Brahma begins creation. Brahma begins creation. Now we begin. Story number 1. Brahma begins creation. In the beginning, there was nothing, only the Parabrahman. It was the supreme principle that had no beginning and no end. The absolute reality that was utterly indescribable. The divine essence with infinite potential. The cause and the effect blended into one. Timeless, boundless, self-created and self-contained. It had no form, nor was it formless. It had no traits, nor was it without any. Pure consciousness, beyond the reach of thoughts and senses. A catalyst that was unchanging, yet it would bring forth every change. It was only when the Parabrahman willed it that creation of the material universe began. A universe that would now be manifest, observable, discoverable, distinguishable. This will of the Parabrahman produced a vibration which birthed the first sound, and it was Om. The sound that contained all the sounds. And the first to form was the Mahatattva, or the primordial element from which originated the three gunas or the three attributes. Sattva guna, denoting preservation, Rajas guna, denoting action, and Tamas guna, denoting destruction. The interplay of these three gunas or the attributes brought forth the Pancha Tattva or the 5 physical elements. We also call them Pancha Mahabhutaha, 5 great elements: air, water, earth, fire, and ether. Together, they made Prakriti or nature manifest. The gunas also gave rise to the 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, taste. These would be determined by 5 sense organs which would be governed by the mind. With matter had come forth perception. Water now flowed and covered everything. Water everywhere, but nothing that would sink. The Parabrahman manifested itself as a divine entity who lay on these waters like a lily pad over a pond. Since water is Nara and abode is Ayana, this entity acquired his name Narayana. The Parabrahman now implanted its own seed in the water. Thus fertilized, the water nurtured the seed and in due course generated an egg, a golden egg that shone like an orb of light. Since this egg or anda had been spawned by the Parabrahman, it came to be known as Brahmanda. Brahma plus Anda, Brahmanda, the cosmos. Narayana now entered the egg as Vishnu, the all pervading one, the preserver, presiding over Sattva Guna. As this golden egg or Hiranya enveloped him like a womb or Garbha, it acquired the name Hiranyagarbha. A lotus with 14 petals sprouted through Vishnu's navel, and out of this flower emerged Brahma, another divine manifestation of the Parabrahman, the creator presiding over Rajasguna. The progenitor bore a kamandala or water bowl and a mala or rosary. Born thus of a lotus from the navel, he got other names like Padmayoni or Nabhija, one that is born out of Nabhi, Nabhija. After spending a year inside the Hiranyagarbha, like a pearl gestating in an oyster, Brahma split the egg into two. The upper half became heaven, and the lower half, earth. Between the two stretched the sky. Brahma had begun the cycle, and he knew how it would eventually end. Creation or sarga would lead to preservation or sthiti, and finally give way to dissolution or pralaya. But as soon as one cycle would die, a new one would be born. At the end of every cycle, when all would be reduced to the primeval ocean of chaos, he would initiate this process all over again. An eternal sequence of cycles, a universe of interlocked circles. Like a firework exploding in a dark sky, Brahmanda had come into being. Brahma sat gazing at what he had just created. Then he entered a state of meditation, and from his depths originated the four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Little did the Creator know that four troubles were also about to rear their heads. Four troubles that would now endanger this very course of creation. Would well begun be half done? I hope you enjoyed the very first of this sequence of 100 stories from the Puranas called Brahma Begins Creation. I will see you in the next story called Vishnu Kills Madhu and Kaitava. Thank you.